Hi, this is Stephanie Lotvin of Tellybean Knits, and today I'm going to show you how to join your cowl in the round. Now, this video does include a spoiler. I am going to show sections 1 through 4, clues 1 through 4 of the cowl. And so if you have not yet finished sections 1 through 4 or clues 1 through 4 of your cowl, stop the video here, pause, finish those sections, and then come back, and when you're ready, I can show you how to join in the round. Okay, so spoiler alert, I am going to be showing the cowl in progress. Okay, last chance, pause the video. All right, great. Okay, so I have here, I'm working on my second version of the cowl. I'm having so much fun with these colors. I'm absolutely loving these pinks so much. And you can see I finished sections 1 through 4, and things are starting to get, there are a lot of stitches on my needle, so it's getting harder to spread things out. So I am ready to join this cowl in the round. So what we're going to do in the first joining round is we're going to work across these stitches. We're going to be removing the 2 stitch markers on the outer edge that mark those garter borders on the outer edge. We're going to keep these 2 stitches at the center of our cowl in place that mark the central stitch. And we're going to be placing a beginning of the round marker once we've actually joined that cowl in the round. We're going to start with the right side of our work facing us. So the right side of your work should be facing you. I have my cowl setting exactly the way that I want it to be for joining in the round. I'm also going to be working a number of increases in order to prepare for the color work that is coming in the chart. So we'll be joining in the round before we work the chart. All right, let's get started. So I'm going to come in just a little closer so you can see what I'm doing. All right, so you can see here that I still have my work with the right side of my work facing me. So I have my live yarn here at the front of my work. I have the right side of my work facing me, and I'm ready to begin joining round 1 using color 5. I'm just going to start by slipping the first stitch with yarn in front. Then I'll bring my yarn between my needles to the back of my work. I'm going to knit 2, and then I'm going to remove that marker. I'm just going to place that in my tiny cauldron. Then I'm going to work a yarn over, and now I'm going to knit 17 and make 1 left 3 times. So I'll just knit 17, and now I will make 1 left, and then knit 17, make 1 left, knit 17, make 1 left, and now I'm going to knit to the next marker. Okay, I've knit to the next marker. You can see this next marker, it marks where the central stitch of my cowl is. So this is my central stitch. I'm going to make one right, slip my marker, knit my central stitch, slip my next marker, and then make one left. Now I'm going to knit 22, make one left 2 times. So I'll just knit 22, and then I'll make one left. And now I'm going to knit 22, make one left. Now I'm going to knit to the final marker, All right, I've reached my final marker. I'm going to work a yarn over. And now I'm going to remove that marker, but I'm going to keep it close because I need that marker. And now I will knit 2 and knit 2 together. Now, in previous sections, I've flipped my work over and I've worked on the wrong side of my work, but I'm about to join this cowl in the round. So I'm going to keep the right side of my work facing me. I'm going to come out a little more so you can see this a little better. I'm going to bring both ends of my cowl together. I'm going to scoot stitches towards both the ends of both needles. So you can see here, I have my live yarn is on my right hand needle, and I've scooted the stitches on my left hand needle close to the tip of my left hand needle. So I still have the right side of my work facing me, but you're starting to see the wrong side of my work shining through. This is going to be the neck opening of your cowl. So you've brought the 2 needles together, the stitches on the 2 needles together, and the right side of those stitches is still facing you. So I'm going to go ahead now and find that sneaky stitch marker that tried to get away. And I'm going to put that on my right hand needle. This is now my beginning of the round marker. So I now have a beginning of the round marker on those stitches between where my stitches are on my right hand needle and my stitches are on my left hand needle. This is going to be the beginning of my round. So I'm going to start joining round 2. I'm just going to bring my yarn to the front of my work. I'm still working in color 5. And I'm going to scoot those stitches close to the end of both needles. And I'm going to purl this first stitch. And I just want to keep the tension on that first stitch extra tight. Let me bring this a little closer so you can see things a little better. So I just want to have the tension on that first stitch pretty snug because I'm trying to reduce the gap that's going to be between the stitches that are from the right hand needle and the left hand needle at the beginning of that round. I'm going to do the same thing for the first 3 stitches. So I'm purling those first 3 stitches and I'm keeping the tension on my needles especially tight just to help close any kind of gap that might happen at the beginning of that round. And now I'm just going to purl to the central stitch marker. So purl to my next stitch marker. Okay, I've purled to my next stitch marker. This is marking my central stitch. I'm going to slip that stitch marker, bring my yarn to the back of my work. I'm going to knit the central stitch, slip the next stitch marker, and now I'm going to purl to the end of the round. All right, I have purled to the end of the round and you can see I'm back at my beginning of the round marker. So I'm just going to move my working yarn to the back of my work and I'm going to break my yarn. I like to leave a 6 to 8 inch tail. I do that whenever I break most of my ends for weaving in later. I do like to have this one just a little longer and I will explain why here in just a second. So let me show you what we have now. I'm just going to bring this out so you can see a little better. All right, so here is my beginning of the round marker. You can see I'm back at the beginning of the round. It's going to be harder to spread out your stitches now that you're working in the round. You just have a lot more stitches on your needles, but that's okay as long as you can stay comfortable with your stitches. I never actually size up the circumference of my needles when I'm working these cowls. I always feel like I feel most comfortable keeping them on the 24-inch circumference as I work through the color work. As the cowl gets larger, I like to have my stitches so that I have enough space to spread them out, but I don't want to have to spread them out so much that I feel like I'm doing a lot of work to move those stitches around. So now you can see we've created a neck opening on our cowl. And I'm just going to flip this over so you can see the point of your cowl. So we've joined in the round and this is the point of your cowl. This is going to be the front where that central stitch has been creating a little spine up the front of our cowl. And if you're worried, so let me just show you where the 2 rounds met. You can see I do have a bit of a gap between the stitches on my right hand needle and the stitches on my left hand needle, and that is whenever I worked across joining round 1 to joining round 2. Now that gap is going to close up as you start working your chart. So when you start working your chart, those stitches will get pulled together, and I like to keep some extra tension on the first few stitches, usually 3 stitches in the first couple of rounds of my chart. So rounds 1 and 2 of my chart, I'll keep a little extra tension on those first 3 stitches to help close that gap. The other thing I like to do is I like to use this end. After I've worked through some color work on the chart, I like to use this end to help sew that gap closed or make it a little snug and give it a little extra security so that when I'm pulling that on and off over my head, I have a little extra strength at the point where the joining round has met those two ends of the triangle. And I will show you how to do that in a future video, but that is the reason I keep a little extra length in this end. Minimally, I like to have 6 inches for weaving in this end. That's usually how I break those ends. So in a future video, I will show you how I weave in that end for color 5. But in order to weave in that end and create that little extra security at the joining point for the triangle, I need to wait and work more of the color work. I usually like to at least finish section 5 and get the entire chart completed in order to weave in this color 5 end. Okay, thank you so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it.